Hey guys, how's it going? The Confused Christian. Yes, the Confused Christian still does make videos. I mean, it's only been like 4 months, right? What's the big deal? That's a long time. But no, seriously, before I get into why it's been 4 months since I made a video, as you can see by the title of this one, it's called I'm in the Twilight Zone 2, which means there is a part 1. If you haven't seen it, stop this, go watch that one, or you might be lost with this one. So, why has it been 4 months? Honestly, it's because I literally could not make a video. You know what I mean? It wasn't for lack of trying. I would set up whatever you want to call this, my little studio, my little camera here, you know, do a mic check, make sure this is nice and straight, and I would just stare blankly into the camera, and I couldn't seem to get any words out. And for my friends and family that know me best, I'll tell you that doesn't make any sense, because Jason, you never shut up, and that's true. I like to talk. So what was the issue? And this went on for a while. I mean, you know, and it's not because I don't have lack of, you know, topics I want to go into. I have so much material I want to bring up to you guys, questions I want to ask you guys. I have a Paul series I wanted to do since day one. And the more I thought about that, I'm like, you know what, Paul, the Paul thing is the most important thing I'm ever going to release on YouTube. So I want to make sure it's exactly how I want it. So, you know, I didn't do that. I had some Sabbath videos I wanted to make. Couldn't do those, and I'm like, okay, what is going on? And I realized it wasn't just the videos where I was having issues. I was having issues with my connection with Yahweh, and I'm sure you can kind of relate to this. Do you guys ever have moments where, you know, 3-4 months, you and Yahweh are like this, right? You and the Almighty, things are perfect, okay? You're thinking about Him morning, afternoon, night. You're praying throughout the day. Your Bible studies are going great. You know, you're finding amazing sermons, and you're like, oh man, even the kids are like, yeah, I get it, Dad, I get it. And so life is perfect, and then you have moments in, you know, your walk with the Lord, and things are not so perfect, right? Something seems off, you know. I don't ever want to say it's Him leaving you, because, you know, we're all on this path, and what really happens is Satan is out there, right, setting traps, and he kind of pulls you off the path, right? So you actually start, you know, veering away from Yahweh, which then is what I believe, you know, the connection you have with Him is kind of, it's not as strong, and that's Him kind of smacking you in the back of the head, say, hey, you know, you're doing something wrong, figure it out, and usually it's easy. Usually it's a couple sins, you know, you go, okay, I see I'm doing this here, I got to stop, or maybe I'm not doing this, and I need to start doing this, and you get that connection strong again, right? But in this case, I mean, this is a couple months, and I'm like, what? I'm praying about it. I'm like, what is going on? I can't figure it out. And then it clicked, all right? I figured it out. Things are great now. My walk is back to being super strong. And it's not, I don't want you guys to think I stopped praying or stopped doing Bible studies or stopped keeping, you know, Shabbat, keeping Sabbath. I still kept doing all these things, okay? They just was not there. Usually my Shabbats are awesome, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm staring at the clock. I'm like, all right, it just didn't feel right, you know? So I don't know. Hopefully you guys can relate to that, because that, you know, it's happened to me a few times in my walk, but never one this long. So let me go back to really quick the Twilight Zone. You guys remember I made a series, or I did a video, which was about a couple stages that I felt myself going through, right? Stage 1, the mind blown stage. Great experience, you know, into, you know, save the freaking world stage. Don't recommend it. Into where I thought I had left off. I'm in the Twilight Zone, you know, people are kind of crazy, they're not seeing this. And I thought I was just stuck in that stage, but that's not the case. I realized that I went through a few more stages. So that is another positive thing about this, you know, 4-month, you know, time frame where I wasn't making videos. And just so you guys know, the reason I shut this whole thing down is, and I'm sorry, I want to apologize to you guys. I have not responded to any emails. I have not responded to any questions. I have not jumped into the comments to, you know, respond there. It is simply because if something is going wrong with me and the Almighty, the last thing I want to do is give you guys advice when I have something, an issue going on with me. Maybe that's actually the topic you're going to bring up, and I'm going to give you bad advice. And no matter how many times I say I do not want to be labeled a teacher, okay? I've said it several times on my channel. I want this channel to be, you know, for others to come here, grow as a body, ask questions. I want to ask questions. I've learned a lot from you guys, you know, and I want to grow like that. Doesn't matter how many times I say that, there's always going to be somebody out there that's like, oh, you know, confused Christian, man. This guy's got to figure it out. I'm going to do exactly as he does. And that is a dangerous, for me. It's dangerous for me, all right? On that day, okay, I do not want to be labeled a teacher and have gotten things wrong, you know, because the punishment is going to be severe for me. So that's why I'm very cautious when it comes to that. If I feel like there's something wrong with my life, I'm always going to shut this down and figure it out first, okay? So after the Twilight Zone stage, I'm going to call, this is the next stage I believe I went into, and it's the why me stage. You start actually asking this question all the time. I started being like, why have I received this, this truth? And so many others out there have not received it. Why me, right? So I'm looking at my life, I'm like, I see Christians that I've known for a long time, and these are amazing Christians, since they were kids. I mean, I've never even heard them, say one little curse word. I mean, they've been an outstanding Christian. They love God, right? So I'm like, God, why have you not shown it to this person, I mean, I don't get it. Why me? And then I look over here and I see another Christian. And I'm like, wow, this person right here, they are feeding the hungry, right? They are sheltering the homeless. They are doing so many amazing things in the name, right, of Jesus, in the name of Yeshua. Why not them? So, I mean, you start going through this process like, why me? Why me? Why? There's so many more people that are better than me. Why did I receive this and not them, right? Why not give it to some of these pastors out there that I respect, that I kind of, have helped me on my walk, in my earlier days? Why have they not received it yet? And then you start to turn, right, with that. When you got that going and you're like, okay, why me? You start being like, okay, well, you know what? Wait, hold on. Maybe. What did I do differently, right? So you start thinking, okay, one thing I know for a fact that I did is I sought God out like crazy. I would seek him out, seek him out, seek him out. I wanted to be whoever he wanted me to be, right? I wanted to learn to build our relationship stronger than anything, okay? And I was a crazy person about it. I'm like, maybe that's it. I was really seeking him out, And then you start saying, okay, maybe these people aren't, Maybe this is just, they look good on paper, but who knows? I mean, maybe these guys go home, maybe they're a bunch of creepos or something. I don't really think that. But, you start telling yourself, like, what is going on? Why have they not seen it, Are they doing things behind the scenes that I don't know? So, the why me stage really, it's kind of confusing because you're honestly, I mean, I was asking this question a lot. Why me? What's the purpose? One person I could tell you, I have disappointed friends, I have disappointed family, I've disappointed my wife, my kids, and that's sad, and I'm sorry. But the one person I do not want to disappoint, okay, is the Father. And if he's given me this truth for some reason, you're like, okay, I don't want to screw this up. Why? Why me? Why have I received this? So you kind of go from there. And like I said, you start looking at Christians and being like, what is wrong with you guys? Why have you not seen this yet? Are you really seeking him like you say you are? And that turns into a dangerous stage, because from there, I went into a stage that's what kept me trapped, okay, for the past 4 months. And I'm going to call it the bitter stage. I don't want to say hate. Hate's a strong word. Angry, right? It was a bitter, angry stage where I looked at the Christian church and I was angry. I'm like, you know what? It's their fault. This church is, basically they're teaching people, look, do you believe that, Jesus Christ died for your sins? Okay, that's it. You're good. Don't worry about it. Come as you are. Don't change. Just do this walk this way, and you're going to be fine. And, and they teach prosperity out of it too. Like, if you come to Jesus Christ and you believe in him, your life's going to be great. You're going to get all this money, great jobs, great cars, great house. And Satan knows this, right? And if you look at it, there's a lot of people that go down this road, they want Jesus for prosperity, and they get it, right? I believe the Father allows them to have this, and they're sitting there, they got the job, they got the car, they got the house, they got the money. What else? Why are they going to seek him like a crazy person when they have everything they want? In their mind, they have eternal life, they have all this money, they have these cars, these houses. And don't get me wrong, you guys, I don't want you to think that I'm saying that people that have money or cars or big houses aren't saved. I don't think that at all. I'm just making a point that the church says this and teaches this in a way, and people hold on to it, and they never want to improve. They never want to go any further. They never want to, make their walk stronger. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, the Christian church, they're stealing souls, In a way, they're stealing what the gift was all about. They're taking it away. Because Yeshua, he didn't promise prosperity. Actually, what he told you was you're going to suffer, okay? You're going to have many days where, being on this walk is not fun. It's going to be tough. That's what he promised us. So the whole prosperity thing, I hate that idea of how people get that in their mind, like, oh, this is going to make me wealthy. That's not it. We're all trying to, eternal life, right? We're trying to store up our treasures in the kingdom, all right? So I started looking at the church in a, kind of a bad way, the bitter, like I said, bitter stage, looking at the church going, oh man, I drive by and I'm like, oh, dang this church, how can I stop these guys from teaching this message? You know, and the sad thing is I listen to Christian music still, you know. I mean, some of the songs drove me nuts. 'Cause, you know, if you guys know the lyrics of some of those songs, if you're on a Torah walk, it's kind of nuts. But I'm like, no more. I took K-Love off, you know, my radio station, right? The Christian, you know, music channel. And then in the morning, I like to listen to sermons. And there's no one out there really doing sermons on Torah. But, you know, there's some good Christian pastors that I still listen to every once in a while. And so I would listen to that in the radio when I'm working. And I took that off. I'm like, I can't take it anymore. There's so many where they're like, you know, don't even try to keep the commandments. If you do that, you're going to be cursed. I mean, these are pastors teaching that. So I'm like, oh, I can't stand it. I took that off the radio station, you know. And what's silly about taking off K-Love, I'm a big country music fan. I like country music. So I'm listening to that instead, right? It's like, Jason, take the time to listen to the lyrics in some of these songs. And was it really, you know, was it really that much better than what you were listening to? But it was like a bitter stage where I was starting to even look at Christians like, oh, what are you guys doing? You know, you're making a mockery of what he did for us. And so this honestly is what I believe the trap that Satan laid out for me. I think Satan realized in my walk, he's like, you know what? He's got Torah, he's figured it out, nothing's going to change his mind on that. So now I got to do something else. And I think that's what he put in my life. Because I was starting to go through the process of, you know what? I don't even want to help Christians anymore. You know, I'm just going to study this Torah, get with my, you know, my brothers and sisters who are already seeing this truth and start walking it out. And that is completely ridiculous. You know, I was like, wait a minute, what's my channel, The Confused Christian? Why did I actually create this channel? One of the reasons was so I can help Christians, you know, brothers and sisters in the church see this, right? If Yahweh chooses to use me as a tool to help pull them out to see truth. And here I am just turning my back on the same family that I was a part of for a long time. You know, and I believe that was what Yahweh was trying to say. That's why the connection was so rough between us. It was a few weeks ago where I was really praying hard on this. I'm like, you know, I feel it, that my Sabbaths don't feel the same. The studying's not going, you know, the sermons are not doing anything for me. Like, I can tell that me and you know, there's a connection issue. And I felt like this strong desire to go kind of back to my roots. You know, and actually, Francis Chan was like the last Christian pastor that I was listening to until I made the big jump, right? I was really into Francis Chan, and I just one day I'm like, you know what? It was a Sabbath, I believe, and I was like, I'm gonna watch one of his sermons. And during the sermon, he's talking about these Christians who are giving up their time to get together and, you know, raise money, you know, build churches, all these things. And he was so fascinated by how these people are so dedicated to helping others. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's an amazing thing, you know. And that's when it just clicked for me. Because, like, you know, and be careful with this whole, you know, the bitter stage, guys. Because you can be walking on the path. And, man, Satan can pull you back into the world just like that. It is so quick for him to pull you out. And you'll be walking off the path and you won't even realize it. You still think you're on the path, you know, until you just stop and go, whoa, where am I? You know, where's the path at? It's, you know, it's way over there. I must have made a wrong turn. So be careful, because that's what I realized. And hopefully this video can help someone that may be in that bitter stage right now. Christians are still out there to do good, okay? So the stage I like to say that I'm in now, okay, is seeing the good in modern day Babylon, if that makes any sense. Because I started thinking about it, and I'm going to give you some examples here, okay? Take alcohol, for example. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are against drinking or who are for it. Either way, what I see with alcohol is alcohol was a gift from God, okay? Now, do people take alcohol, the majority, and use it for, does it do more harm than good? Absolutely. It absolutely does more harm than good. And that's why there's so many pastors, there's so many people even in Torah that say, just, no, stay away from alcohol, because they see how much evil it brings. Which is true, you know, but I'm on the other side of it, like, wait, Yahweh, I believe, gave this as a gift. If we handle it responsibly, you know, and we see the good in it, then yeah, there's good in it. But this, geez, alcohol causes way more harm than good, right? Same thing, for example, let's take sex, okay? Between a husband and a wife, God gave it for good, right? Has Satan taken what he's given and totally disrupted it? Does it have more harm than good? Absolutely. I mean, pornography is crazy. You know, you look at just sex in general. I mean, they use sex to sell products. It's insane. He took what God created to be beautiful and special between a husband and a wife and destroyed it. So there's more harm than good, but we still agree that, hey, it's there for, you know, for the good. And it's between a husband and a wife, right? So I looked at the Christian church and I was like, okay, here's my problem. I'm looking at the Christian church and I'm saying, wow, it does way more harm than good. It is taking people and they are getting comfortable with their prosperity, their back pocket Jesus, and they're not going to seek him out. So it's a bad idea. And I think that's when he was just, boom, right in the back of my head, goes, no, listen. Yes, as of right now, Satan has got his hand on the church, right? And it is doing, in a way, more harm than good. But there are people in there doing good. Are we really going to stop, Christians getting together to feed the hungry? Absolutely not. Are we going to stop them, from going into third world countries to pass around, Bibles and teach them about Jesus Christ, even though in a way they're teaching some wrong theology, right? But the point is, they're doing good. They're doing in their mind what they believe is good. And once I realized that, I was like, okay, I see. I mean, I was blinded for a second there, forgetting what this whole idea was about. Why I even created this channel was, yes, the church does some pretty whacked out things, but we've got to stay close to them, okay? I stopped going to my church too completely. Like I was just getting so frustrated. Like, I can't do this. I can't listen to this, watered down sermons anymore. I mean, you'd hear Paul say, like, I want to give you solid foods, and here I am just giving you the milk still. I mean, this is not even milk. This is friggin', skim milk, right? Gross. Just watered down, terrible. But you know what? If I strap my Z-Seats on and I go there, maybe a Christian comes up to me and goes, hey, well, why are you wearing those? And maybe God uses that moment for me to explain to him. So I think this is kind of a problem I've seen in the Hebrew Roots movement where, we realize how wrong the Christian church is. We see the evil inside of it, and we fly out of there so fast. And we're over here in a distant area where, our light's not shining anymore, right? So I've really been working hard now in the past few weeks to see the good in modern day Babylon. And a verse came to mind here. This is going to be Mark 9, 38 through 41. I'm going to read this to you guys. John said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons in your name. We tried to stop him because he was not following us. But Yeshua said, 'Do not stop him, for no one who does a mighty work in my name will be able soon after to speak evil of me. For the one who is not against us is for us. For truly I say to you, whoever gives you a cup of water to drink because you belong to Christ will by no means lose his reward.'" So here we have an example where, John is seeing people that are not following the ways of Yeshua, right? I don't know exactly what it is, but they're off the path a little bit, but they're doing a good work, right? And Yeshua's like, hey, don't stop them. And I feel like in my mind, I'm like, this Christian church needs to stop. Yes, they're off the path, and they're missing a lot of important, elements to their walk, but they're still doing good works. So we got to, commend them for that. And that was a huge mistake on my part. And that is exactly, I believe, 100% why, Yeshua, I was kind of distant. And ever since now, I kind of figured this out. And I put K-Love back on the radio station, Some songs, I'll admit, I got to turn off because I can't take it. But I see the joy in it. I see the good in it. The sermons, some of them are rough. I'd be lying if I didn't say they weren't. But I do see sermons that have good, positive messages that are going to help people. If it wasn't for the Christian church, I could have never walked to where I am today. I started Christianity 101, right? Through different pastors, building my way up. I believe Yahweh was making that happen for me till I made the jump to understand this. And we don't all have the full truth yet. No way. There's still going to be amazing things we're going to learn about and understand. But yeah, that is why I haven't made a video. And again, guys, I'm sorry. Like I said, I received emails, messages, and I feel bad that I have not responded. I'm going to get to it now. I'm going to respond to hopefully everyone that's responded to me or asked questions. The walk feels good now. And yeah, so, I'm curious again. Let me know if you guys have gone through the process like this. Have you guys had issues where you've been through these stages, the bitter stage? that was a long time, man. I was kind of ridiculous there, I was angry. But I got it all straightened out. So you guys feel free, email me, helpconfusechristian@gmail.com. Go ahead, leave comments down below. And as always, please go out there and seek the truth. Seek it with everything you got. All right, guys, I'll catch you next time. Hopefully it won't be 4 months from now. All right, later.